Good morning, Body Balance community. My name is Cassie Chunko, and this is Zoe Crawford, and we are doctors of physical therapy located off of Loman's Crossing at Body Balance Physical Therapy. We were calling this segment Finding Balance in Quarantine, but since we are transitioning out of quarantines, still trying to stay safe, wearing our masks, washing our hands, all of the healthy practices that we need to be doing, but we are open for business to serve all of your physical therapy and wellness needs. This morning, what we are going to talk about is something that both Zoe and I talk about all the time in the clinic, and that is your body's stress response. So not many people know about this, but so that's why we are wanting to educate everybody online. So your body has two systems that regulate your stress response. And this is, we have it on the board here, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, some people might have heard this before as fight or flight, which is sympathetic, or rest and digest. So it's kind of what it sounds like. Your sympathetic nervous system, so what we'll do is we'll first explain what these two systems are, then we'll kind of explain how we might see a maladaptive response in our population, with anyone that comes to physical therapy or just anyone in general, and then how to get your body out of those systems, out of that stress response, and more into a relaxed state. So first, we have the sympathetic nervous system, and just like we have written down, it's your fight or flight. So what that means is anytime your body perceives a threat, whether that is you have to fight somebody, or you have to flight, run away from a bear, or I don't know, a rattlesnake, just anything that your body perceives stress, but stress also can mean pain, or emotional stress, or mental stress. So whatever that might be, we've talked about that in previous weeks. So what happens anytime that your body perceives this stress is that cortisol is released, and other hormones as well, but most people, if you haven't heard of it, cortisol is it's a stress hormone. And then other hormones that are released are epinephrine and norepinephrine, which circulate through the body, and then it tells the body how to make changes. So what happens when this is released is your heart rate increases, and it also tells the muscle of the heart to increase its force of contraction. So already your heart is having to work harder. You're putting an extra stress on your heart when you're in this sympathetic state. The other thing that happens, and this makes sense because it's called fight or flight, if Zoe was being chased by a rattlesnake, or if one of her dogs were to run away and she has to go run after her dogs, all of your blood goes to your muscles so that your body knows, oh no, I need to do something fast. So all the blood goes straight to your muscles, which means it's going away from other systems in your body, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Actually, where does the blood go then, so?
The blood, and like Cassie said, it's shunted or it's redirected to the areas of the body that needs it at that point in time. Which again, that's going to be the muscles, that's going to be even your heart, because which is a muscle, but that it needs more blood flow, it needs more oxygen, right? That's the purpose of our blood, so that it can increase that force of contraction. The other side of that is everything is kind of taken away, right? So if all of your blood is being shifted into your muscles, because that's where it needs it, it's taking it away from your digestive system. It's taking it away from the other areas of your body that don't necessarily need it at that time when I like that example, when you're running to chase your dogs down the street. So your GI system, your gut, your small intestines, your large intestines, they don't really need it at that time. So again, the motility, which that means how the actual flow, right, the peristalsis is the other word for it, doesn't need to happen during that time frame. So again.
Yep, and then also glucose is released from your liver at this time. So all these, in recap, your fight or flight, cortisol is released, epinephrine and norepinephrine, which tells your heart to beat faster, have a stronger contraction, all the blood goes to your muscles and it goes away from your digestive system, which can cause problems. I don't think there's anything else we want to talk about right now with the sympathetic. So going on to parasympathetic, the job of the parasympathetic is just to kind of keep the sympathetic in check. So it kind of just, we are body balance physical therapy, we are finding balance this morning. Everything in your body is a balance of hormones and chemicals and transmitters and all the good stuff. So the parasympathetic is balancing out the sympathetic. So when you are not in the sympathetic, when you are not having stress induced on you, your body says, okay, I can chill out, I can digest my chicken and whatever else you had for lunch, and everything can work in balance. Anything else to add?
I mean, I think that it's more like, as you said, it keeps everything in balance. It shifts everything back to kind of where it would be, or where it should be, kind of in a restful state. It brings the heart rate down by managing the release or changing the release of the norepinephrine and the epinephrine. As well as it kind of, again, it redirects everything so that you can then maintain a homeostasis, or just this lovely little balanced state.
So what happens when we're not in this balanced state? And although the sympathetic nervous system, we need it. It's good. It protects us. Whenever we do have these stressful instances where we need that increased heart rate, but we usually,
we have to be able to turn it on and turn it off, right?
Exactly.
We know that it's good. We know that sympathetic nervous system needs to kick on. We also need it to turn off. If not, then we live in this consistent state of everything being heightened.
Yeah.
Everything, we're just super reactive. I think that's another good word for that sympathetic nervous system, is that it's reacting, right? If something is chasing you, if you're super stressed out, if you know that you have all of these things, you're just reacting. You're not sitting down and we're not reflecting and able to manage and sort and process.
Yeah, and in a way, I mean, if you're not processing, I like to think of it as that you're just living in survival mode. Either you're trying to anticipate something that's going to happen in the future, so if your in-laws are coming in town, or if you're, anything that can happen, if you're waiting for a promotion at work, or if you are having a conflict with your partner, or if you're anticipating those things, or if you're also just dwelling in the past of rethinking about things that, stressful instances, your body is continuously in this sympathetic state, which won't serve you for the long term. We don't want to constantly have our heart working so hard and our digestion not really going. So that could be a reason if you're not having regular bowel movements, that could be a reason why. So now, how do we fix it? The first thing that Zoe and I are big advocates of, and same thing with your body, is when we're doing physical therapy, trying to figure out the mechanics of your body and what's going wrong, is you need to first recognize where these stressors are coming from. So if you're not able to recognize it, then you can't change it. So possibly maybe taking 5-10 minutes to reflect on what have been really stressful events for you in the past week. And not that you can completely avoid those. I mean, you can't change that your dog runs away from you, or you can't change that you had an argument with your roommate or with your partner. But if you are able to recognize it and maybe then in the future try to make changes, or understand that after something stressful happens, then maybe take a bath and try to promote that rest and digest phase, or anything that is calming for you. Taking a walk in nature. We've definitely talked about our mindful walks. And with walking, something that I'm trying to practice is a gratitude practice. There's a lot of studies that show that taking the first couple minutes of your day, or at the end of the day, to think about what you're grateful for. I'm grateful that I'm here right now. I'm grateful to be working with my best friend. I'm grateful that I live in Texas and it's nice outside. So having those things that are recognize what makes the body happy also can calm it down.
I think that Cassie she touched on a good point that we are okay. We need our sympathetic nervous system to do its job when it needs to do its job, but we have to appreciate and we have to be in control of being able to say, I clearly know that this happened, and let's figure out a strategy to make sure that my parasympathetic, that we're calming everything down and we're getting back kind of into that balanced state. I think that's kind of the importance of this entire conversation, is the fact that we're in charge of our nervous system, right? Our brain and our ability to connect in with it. That's us. We can do that. So we need to be aware of when, right? When we're in that heightened state, and then also the strategies and how we can tell our brain, cool it, let's bring it down. I know I've been, this entire week, maybe we've been super stressed, everything has been kind of up in the air, things are
After
changing.
Memorial Day weekend, maybe you first saw family. But as Zoe's mentioned before, that it's good, your body needs that stress. So,
it needs it.
Yeah.
And it's important, and that's a part of exercise, right? Exercise in its own way, it is a stressor to the body.
Which is good stress.
It's good stress.
We want to be resilient.
But it also, it influences our immune system, it allows our nervous system to know when, hey, it's turned on, do your job correctly, and then when we're done with it, it turns it off. But it's also important for us to be mindful of the fact that if we are in that heightened state already, if our sympathetic nervous system is already on and doing too much, maybe it means that we don't do a high intensity workout. Maybe it means we're not doing CrossFit. That week, maybe it means that we're being a little bit more appreciative of maybe doing a lower intensity, something Pilates-based, breathing-based yoga, so that we are encouraging our nervous system to say, hey, we can bring it down, and I know that we've been doing a lot, but being mindful of making sure that we're paying attention to what our body needs within these two systems.
Yes. I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, just remember that these two systems are important, but if one system is overriding the other, then everything kind of gets thrown out of whack, right? Like we said, finding balance and making sure that we are aware and connecting in with what our body needs and what our systems are telling you.
Yes. Balance between the reacting and the reflecting. So, again, just as I said at the beginning, we are almost, our schedules are full, kind of back to their normal, but we are taking clients to come back in. So if you guys are having any musculoskeletal issues or back pain, neck pain, we'll continue to talk about all of that, but please come and see us off of Loman's Crossing. And we hope you guys have a beautiful day.